What's happening, my block buddies? Welcome to Block Content. We have some more Nintendo Switch news today, and something very weird. We have, of course, heard that Bethesda is doing something with the Nintendo Switch. We don't really know what. There has been some rumblings that this might be an Elder Scrolls, kind of like a Skyrim port. And I was very curious what you guys thought of this, because from the first trailer we could see some small glimpses of this Skyrim port, but this could just as well have been some test footage of that trailer to just show, where is it going with the development and what kind of games could this system handle. But now we have a little bit more to go on, because there was actually an interview with Skyrim's creator, Todd Howard. And of course, you guys know Todd Howard. He's a video game designer well known for the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series, and he was actually named one of the top 20 most influential people in gaming over the last 20 years, which is actually a pretty great feat. And I know this guy mostly from his involvement with Xbox, and on the E3 press conferences, he would always hop on the Xbox press conferences and talk a little bit about his involvement with Microsoft. So I'm very interested to see what he has to say about the Nintendo Switch, about Nintendo, because they've never really worked together. So there was actually an interview that came out with Glixel.com where he talks a little bit about, his whole work in the gaming industry so far, things about Fallout, and what are important things in gaming for him. But also there is this little tiny quote about the Nintendo Switch that came out whenever the interviewer asked him. So let's just dive into this interview a tiny bit. I thought this answer was pretty interesting as well. He was asked by Glixel.com, "Do you want to make Elder Scrolls and Fallout games for the rest of your life?" Which is a pretty direct question, but I loved his answer. He says, "In some respects, yes. They're worlds that we really love. I would be sad if we stopped, because we want to do other things as well, but those worlds are a part of who I am. We make little games too, like Fallout Shelter. We have some other mobile games that we're starting to look at. We can try some things that we usually wouldn't do with the larger games." So this kind of prompted the interviewer to ask, "You have more mobile games on the way?" And he answered with, "We definitely do, yes." So probably mobile games could also mean some sort of connection to Nintendo, as we know they have done with Super Mario Run and of course Pokemon Go. But it's of course this next question that got the internet rumbling, and he's being asked by Glixel.com, "What do you think of the Switch, Nintendo's newly announced console that is portable but also hooks up to your TV?" And he answers, "I love it. I got to play it, and I will tell you, well, maybe it's an NDA thing. One of the best demos I've ever seen. Probably the best demo I've ever seen at E3. So there are a couple of things that I gleaned from this, which is, well, first off, it's great to hear that he loves it and he actually got to play it behind closed doors. I don't really know if any partners have said they have, got to play that console. So to me, this is some sort of, brand new concept that I've heard about. Maybe there are already some Nintendo Switch developer kits out there. So it's really interesting that he got to play it, and it makes you wonder what kind of game he was playing on this console. Could it have been the new Mario game maybe? Or could it just have been demos or mini games, something like that? Because we don't really know that much about these developer kits, so I would love to hear more about this. And he tells us that it might be an NDA thing, so he's probably under contract to not say anything about this, but the one thing he does say is that one of the best demos I've ever seen. Probably the best demo I've ever seen. So he kind of goes into this a little bit more, saying this is not a demo about a specific game that he talks about, but it's a demo of the device itself. So probably just the specs and trying out a different few mini games, stuff like that. He answers, because they're asking him, was it a Nintendo game that you got to play at E3? And he says, no, I mean the device itself. I think it's really smart what they're doing. We're definitely going to be supporting it. It's the first time we've done something on Nintendo consoles, if you don't count the old NES stuff, Home Alone or Where's Waldo. So this answer is a little bit more direct, but he probably got to test some games out. He's not saying anything about that because of the aforementioned NDA, but he loves the concept that you can bring your games anywhere on the go and still hook it up to your TV. And of course, sure, for Bethesda, it's the first time, he's even mentioning the old NES stuff like Home Alone or Where's Waldo. So I think it's funny that he still has those connections, that he still knows that kind of stuff. Because I think at this point he's like 45 or something. So yeah, he's been in the industry for a long time. And it's very cool to hear him be so happy about the Nintendo Switch. To just dive a little bit into this, he is saying the device itself. So he knows about playing it on the go. He knows about playing it at home. He thinks it's really smart what they're doing. So in a market position, this is not what the other guys are doing. Xbox is not doing anything with playing on the go. And, PlayStation has always done, the Vita or the PSP connective stuff. But it's nothing like the Switch will end up doing. So I think that's what he means with smart, what they're doing. He says we're definitely going to be supporting it, which would probably mean, something like Skyrim, right? But maybe this means more. Maybe this means supporting it in the long run, right? Maybe multiple games. Maybe there might even be a Fallout sequel possible. Or, maybe if we think in terms of Nintendo, Fallout Shelter was that small mobile game. Maybe that could even have some connectivity with Nintendo because that's a little bit cuter, I guess, in some sort of way. That could fit a bit more. And they saying, yeah, it's the first time we've done something on Nintendo, and that's when the interviewer asks them of Glixel.com, can you really bring Skyrim with you on the go? Because he asks this because it's such a massive game, such a beautiful, game, and it will probably be the remastered version, so it has all these crazy lighting effects. It is, looking amazing. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild, but I think in terms of computing power, it's got to take even more. So the interviewer asks, can you really bring it with you? And he says, so he probably confirms it right here. He probably confirms that Skyrim is coming to the Nintendo Switch. He's saying it's the same game on the TV and on the other screen. So right now, I think we have an official confirmation that Skyrim Remastered is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Wow, that's amazing. Anyway, this is all that we have on Todd Howard right now. I think it's really cool that he did this whole interview and talked a little bit about the Switch. Probably said some things that he wasn't allowed to say just yet, but I'm very happy that he did because, now we know a little bit more about potentially Skyrim coming to Nintendo Switch. And I think that for a lot of people, that series is just amazing, but they didn't have, maybe they're a Nintendo audience, so they didn't really have the console to play it on. If Skyrim will launch with the Nintendo Switch and you'd be able to play it on the go, I think that'd be such a system seller for them because it's an amazingly detailed game. And even going further in the interview, I've read all of the interview. There's no other mentions of Nintendo or any of that stuff. But they're actually saying that, hey, are you going to add new features to the game, change it up a little bit, or change the things that you think need fixing? And they're basically saying no. We're scared that it might turn into the George Lucas effect. And with that, they probably mean George Lucas is of course the director of the first Star Wars film, and I think also episodes 1, 2, and 3. And what happened there is basically he made these alternate editions, these special, editions that came on DVD, and he would add, CGI ships in the background, he would multiply characters, he would change entire scenes so their meaning wouldn't really make sense anymore. And there's been a lot of people who made, despecialized versions to show that these Star Wars editions were meant to be seen in the way that they were released. Anyway, for Skyrim, he says, yeah, we're kind of, we have this lightning in a bottle with this game. We just want to keep it like this. So the remastered version will just look better and be optimized. But other than that, it's the same game. So I think that it could really, get that launch of Nintendo Switch. If they play their cards right, they could just make that Nintendo Switch launch. And that would make everyone so happy because this is really the first time that they're working together with Nintendo, as they said in the interview. But it also means that they're, showing for other third parties that there is so much in this new console. So even for different companies that they've already announced to be working with, including Konami as well, this would be such an amazing feat because it would show them, wait, the big boys down at Bethesda are doing something with Skyrim for the Nintendo Switch at launch. So this might be a viable, platform for our product too, which I think would be just amazing, and I would be very happy if the Nintendo Switch would become this platform where other third parties would be saying, hey, we've had some trouble in the past, Nintendo, but right now this is where we're going to be at. We're going to be with you on this. And just like Todd Howard says in the interview, we are definitely going to be supporting it. And I want to hear a lot more of those quotes from a lot more people around the industry. And I'm also very curious what you guys at home think of this news. Are you excited to play Skyrim on a Nintendo console? Have you played it before? Or were you waiting for something like this to happen? Are you excited about this? I want to know this. I want to kind of see how many people of you know about Skyrim and want to play it, because that'll give me an indication of how well it might be doing at launch and how many people actually want this, because I kind of want this. I know Skyrim. I've played a fair amount of it. It's an amazing game, but it will be still the same game. You can take it with you on the go, but that's probably where, it all ends, right? So anyway, I'm curious what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have been following Block Content for the past couple of months, I'm so happy that we've already crossed over 1,000 subscribers and we're heading for more. I'm so happy about that. If you are not yet part of this, please press the subscribe button and become part of our awesome family, because we've just started. We're going to take over the world with Block Content. Thank you so much for being here. And remember that there's always more Switch news right around the corner. See ya.